Hi, I'm Mark and I'm passionate about English. Okay, so for today's mini lesson I've got Pete with me and I'm going to ask him some questions and then he's going to explain some expressions. Most of them will have the word act in them, and this is because he loves amateur dramatics. Okay, so hi Pete.
Hi Mark.
How's it going?
Very well, thank you very much. You?
Yeah, not
Good.
bad at all. I believe you're having a week off.
No, I'm actually in the middle of a run as we speak. We've finished the first week. We're into the second week now, so I'll be performing again this evening on Brownsea Island in Midsummer Night's Dream, which I'm looking forward to.
And what part are you playing?
I'm playing the part of Bottom.
Oh.
And if people know the play, it's the one with the ass's head.
Oh dear.
So it's great fun.
And I guess it was a foregone conclusion that you would get that part.
Are you saying that I'm a bit of an ass? Thank you, Mark. I've known you for too long to say anything about that.
You do like to horse around.
Well, I certainly do. Nice phraseology as well, mate.
Okay, so, well, I do know the answer to this question, but our viewers don't. How did we meet?
Well, we met in 2002 on Brownsea Island in the production of King Lear. It was my first ever performance. I'd never been involved in acting before, and just it fell into it, sort of thing, and absolutely loved it. And if I remember rightly, were you playing a duke or a lord or something?
Well, because it wasn't my first time to act, but it was my first time to be in the Shakespeare on Brownsea Island. So we both got minor parts, didn't we? But actually, the person playing quite a big part, the Duke of Cornwall, he had an argument with the director on the first rehearsal. I think it was about smoking, actually. And so obviously he had to find a very good replacement, and he asked me.
I thought you were going to say no one was available, so they asked you.
so yes, we both had minor parts, and then I got a main part.
You were quite a vicious character as well, weren't you, in that one, if I remember rightly?
Yeah, actually, I think it was the Duke of Gloucester. He was tied up, and I had to gouge his eyes out with my thumbs, and it was a quite enjoyable role to play. Okay, and I believe you've done loads of other plays.
Yeah. Since 2002, I've been a good expression, bitten by the bug.
Okay.
The acting bug, and
Yeah.
I just love it. So I've got a day job, but when I'm not doing my day job, it's all about acting. I think it's 11 years now, and I think I've done 74 shows in 11 years.
Okay.
I'll end up this year, by the end of this year, being in 7 different shows this year.
Wow. And I've only done 2 since we met, which was Romeo and Juliet and Hamlet. I can't remember. Were you in those?
I was in Romeo and Juliet, but I wasn't in Hamlet.
Okay.
I had a year off.
Okay. All right. And do you like being in the limelight?
Ever so slightly, yes. I love it. I love everything that comes with the acting.
What does in the limelight mean first?
In the limelight, I mean, one could argue it's the centre of attention, but being that we're on an island with 34 other people in the cast who also like being the centre of attention, it does make it quite difficult because we can't all be the centre of attention. Okay. But we do all play up to each other very much, yes. But in general life, I like to think that I'm the life and soul of the party.
Well, there's another good one.
So I do tend to always be the one that's lively, entertaining. Yes, a little bit loud, but it's just who I am.
Okay, so let me just say, to be in the limelight, obviously, if you're on stage, you are in the light. But it's talking about in general, isn't it? Being at the centre of attention.
It's about what's going on at that moment in time, who's watching. So if you're the person that's making all the noise, or
telling the jokes,
whatever you're doing, and other people are listening to you, you are the person that's in the limelight because you are the one that everyone is looking at.
Okay, and you've got a day job, and we say in English, if your acting is not so good, don't give up the day job.
We do, yeah.
Anyone say that to you?
I have no intention of giving up my day job, I can assure you. I love my day job. I'm actually a manager of a leisure centre, so it's wonderful, I'm in a place basically where people come to have fun, all right? The gym isn't always fun, it can be hard work, but you've got swimming and, all the other activities. People come for fun. So I'm in a place where generally, most of my customers are happy to be there, and it makes it a happy place.
Okay, here's an expression I just thought of straight away. If you're in a bit of a bad mood, do you have to put on an act?
You certainly do, and I mean it's the number one rule of customer service, is that no matter how you're feeling and what's happening, and possibly even how rude a customer is being to you, you have to show a certain sort of like decorum, etc. And yes, you will put on an act, which means that you will be, or you will appear to be, in a different mood to what you could actually be inside.
And you put on an act, and then you keep up the act.
Keep up the act, absolutely, yes.
Continue.
Absolutely, yeah, until the person leaves, because the idea of customer service is that person goes away having a good experience. So you have to keep up the act throughout the whole conversation.
Fantastic. Okay, well, back to acting. I meant to ask you, why do you like acting so much?
Well, it's interesting because I kind of like, as I said, I stumbled upon it in 2002 when I met you in King Lear. I've spent all my life playing football and rugby, which I thoroughly enjoyed, in particular the rugby. And I got injured in 2002, which meant I had to give up rugby. And it meant I had to give up the whole camaraderie about, you know, being with your friends and what it meant on the pitch when you were working together as a team, and when you got your act together and played well as a team.
Okay, you better explain.
Getting your act together. Basically, what it would mean is that if the team plays well and everyone works well together, you've got your act together. And if you have got your act together, you will find that you'll be more fluent in your game, which will give you a better chance of winning. If you don't have your act together, then there's miscommunication, which means there's missed passes, which means there's misunderstanding in what everyone's doing on the pitch, and you don't have that fluidity of the game. And the important thing about rugby and most other team sports is you have to all be working together.
Okay, but also, of course, it's not just for sport. Before doing this little chat, I had to get my act together.
You certainly
I had
did.
to put the tripod up, the camera, check it was recording. My thing I always have to worry about is make sure I put the microphone on. But did I get my act together?
Well, we'll see, won't we, when we actually watch it and see if you've recorded it. Fingers crossed.
Okay. And during your acting experiences, have there been any big cock-ups or screw-ups?
I
should say, fuck-ups.
Yeah, well, there are many different cock-ups on stage. Some of them might be just where someone hasn't learnt their words properly, so they haven't got their act together, because they haven't learnt their words properly. Sometimes it's props go wrong, and I remember earlier this year I was doing a comedy role where I was playing a police officer, and throughout this particular scene he was supposed to be sprayed with a soda siphon, one of these things that sprayed soda out of the jet. Soda water. And what was happening is the old gentleman, the old patient, had this soda siphon, and everyone kept making him jump. And every time he jumped, he pressed the soda siphon and water would shoot out and had to hit the policeman. So after 4 times of this happening, the audience loving the fact that this policeman's getting covered in soda water, the 5th time he was made to jump, he did it and he broke the handle. So the soda siphon didn't work. But the audience could see it should have worked, and therefore I should have got soaked by the soda siphon. So we were both sat there in our chairs as the audience were laughing at the irony of something not working, that I basically just took the glass that was in my hand and threw it over my face, to which the audience just roared with laughter. So it was a cock-up, but we turned it into another gag.
And you brought the house down.
We did with that one, they loved it. It was very funny. It was certainly a good act, that one.
All right. Okay. And one more question to do with acting. Would you like to have been a professional actor?
It's a difficult question because I love acting. I thoroughly enjoy being on stage, but we know people that are professional actors, through relationships at Brownsea and stuff like that. Andrew Jarvis, very well-known actor. And I remember talking to him once, and we had a conversation about a show that he was doing in the West End called A Woman in Red. And he did it for an entire year, 6 days a week, Monday to Saturday, twice on Saturday. And he had Sundays off. And I thought to myself, could I really do that?
Yeah.
The motivation to be able to produce an acting performance day in, day out, over 365 days of the year.
Yeah.
The amateur side of it I love. In the last year, I've been bottom in Brownsea, I've been a comedy policeman, I've been a straight guy in a thriller, I've been a straight policeman in another thriller, I've been in an Agatha Christie play where I played a very posh gentleman, and last year I played McMurphy, which is the part Jack Nicholson played in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. So in 1 year I've had 7 or 8 different characters.
You're also very good at playing gay parts, aren't you?
I'm quite happy to play gay parts, provided we don't have to go all the way. I do draw the line at nudity, you know.
Okay.
Are you saying I'm gay?
Well, actually, no. It's true what you're saying, because I would love to have been a musician, a bass player. But actually, when you think of all the band politics and touring every night in a hotel and travelling, it's probably not so attractive.
The money side of it's attractive, but the living away from home, living out of a suitcase basically is what they do.
Yeah.
Do you really want to do that? I've got a young daughter that I love her dearly, and I wouldn't want to be away from her. So you got the pros and the cons, haven't you, for it?
Does she play up sometimes?
My daughter plays up all the time. She is what's known as a triple threat. She's 17, she can sing, she can act, and she can dance. And she has this amazing ability to bat her eyelids, and my wallet just opens. It's quite incredible.
So play up is kind of be a bit, how to say? Oh.
Well, a play up would be someone who knows how to handle someone.
Brilliant.
And does it accordingly to get the result that they wish to get. Usually with my daughter, it's for her dad to say yes to whatever she asks for. And it works.
Fantastic. Okay, I think we better move on. Okay, so here's an easy one. So you've got a full-time job and you're doing lots of acting. So we would call this a balancing act.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I've got a managerial role in a leisure centre, so I do have quite a lot of seniority there and a lot of responsibility. I'm on call 24/7, you know. So just the other night, I got a call at about 1:30 in the morning. The alarms went off, and I had to act upon that and get to work and identify what the problem was and resolve it. So it can be quite tough. This was Monday night. I'd been on stage performing on Brownsea. Yeah. I got home probably about 12:30, 1:45, very tired from the show. Yeah. Just falling off to sleep, and the phone goes, and I've got to, like I say, get my act together and get to work quickly, because legally I have to be at work within 20 minutes. Once the alarm is activated, that's a prerequisite for the police.
So if you're in a performance and sometimes you have to say in the middle of a speech, you say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I have to go now."
No, what I tend to do then is I tend to have someone else on call as well. That would be rather amusing, wouldn't it? Can you just hang on here for an hour? I've just got to run back to the office to check the alarms.
Exactly. Okay. How about so a balancing act is when you've got different things going on in your life, not just two, and you've got to somehow rearrange things.
Yeah, so that they all fit in, so that you're able to do them all to an appropriate level, and you're not letting things or people down in all the different areas. You're right, it's not just work and acting. You've got to think about as a parent, so there's another one there.
And a lover.
Wow, always a lover. Not a gay one though, not at the moment, thank you, Mark. But all those different things. Friends, it's a balancing act with friends, because friends can be very demanding. Certainly if they're feeling a bit down, you want to give them a pick me up. But you've got to balance it all.
Okay. Now, after we were in our first Shakespeare play together, and you saw how brilliant I was, you could say I was a tough act to follow.
Absolutely. I have never seen anyone gouge a pair of eyes out like you did, mate.
Night after night.
You were an extremely aggressive actor with that. No, it was quite a daunting performance. Yeah. I don't want to blow your trumpet on here, but I have to say it was actually very good. And I think the guy, was it Steve, the gentleman whose eyes you gouged out?
I think it was. Yeah.
He obviously reacted very well to what you were doing, and that's what made it so believable. Yeah. That again is getting the act together. The two of you working together to make the audience believe that you had just gouged his eyes out?
Well, it wasn't acting. I mean, he is blind now.
Is that why I've not seen him on Brownsea since? There we go. I wondered where he had gone.
Anyway, so again, this is not just to do with acting, is it? It's when you are doing something that somebody else has done. Maybe you're the manager of a leisure centre, but when you started, maybe the guy before you was very, very good. So he's a hard act to follow, a tough act to follow. Tough doesn't mean difficult. Well, it does, but it means you've got to somehow match how good he was.
Or be better. A good example would be the reality TV shows that we have at the moment with the talent contests and all that. You know, someone comes on and they do a performance, and what do they say? You're going to be a tough act to follow.
Yeah.
The next person's got to come on and has to be as good as, if not better, than that person before. Otherwise, what's going to happen? They're going to get negative feedback. So, exactly. Tough act to follow.
Okay. This is going to be a long interview, so I'm going to cut down on a few of these, but this is a very useful one. Have you ever been caught in the act?
A number of times.
Oh dear.
I'm just wondering which one is probably the most appropriate to include in an interview. I mean, being caught in the act doesn't always have to be smutty, although they are the better stories, and it is true that I was caught in the act once.
So it means you were with somebody.
Well, you don't have to be. When you're caught in the act, it basically means you're doing something that may be not quite right or is a little bit naughty, and someone else comes in and witnesses that you doing it. You are therefore caught in the act. You could be doing something on your own. You could be doing something as simple as watching gay porn, as you think I like that sort of thing, but I don't want people to know.
Yeah.
So imagine I was at home watching gay porn and my girlfriend walked in. I was caught in the act watching gay porn. Now, what would probably happen if she did see me doing that is she would read me the riot act.
Oh, that's a good one. So what if she reads you the riot act, what does that mean?
Well, that tends to mean when someone reads the riot act that you are doing something that is wrong. It could be bawdy, it could be illegal, it could be outrageous, but whatever it is, reading the riot act basically means having a go at you and saying what you are doing is totally inappropriate. You need to stop it right away.
Yeah. Do you ever read the riot act in work?
I do have to sometimes, not too often, fortunately. My staff are pretty good, but there are occasions where, certainly because a lot of my staff are very young, where they're inexperienced, they may do something or say something that is a bit inappropriate, and it can upset customers, and customer service is so important. So I do sometimes have to get them in my office and read them the riot act.
Okay, brilliant. Okay. And if let's say one of your staff was not working very well, and you say to them, you need to clean your act up.
I mean, cleaning your act up could be something. A perfect example I've got, as you've brought it up with work, is I have a staff room in where we work, and our staff use the staff room, and some of them use it more appropriately than others. There are a couple of staff that they would use that staff room like it was their own bedroom. They'd come in from outside, they'll have their work clothes in a bag, they'll put their work clothes on, they'll just throw their normal clothes on the floor and leave it a mess. They'll go and get lunch, they'll bring it down to the staff room, they'll eat their lunch, and then they'll leave their plates and stuff in the staff room rather than taking it back to the kitchen. Basically, they end up leaving the staff room in a mess. We say, clean your act up. It means sort yourself out and get this kind of thing cleaned up. That's one way you can clean your act up.
Okay, so that is kind of quite close to cleaning, isn't it?
It is, yes.
But it could also mean any situation where you need to behave in the right way.
Yeah, I mean, cleaning your act up could be a simple having a conversation whereby you might be a little bit rude. And someone says, "Oi, clean your act up." It might be you're using foul language, which you obviously enjoy. And sometimes using foul language is appropriate.
Well, I try not to in these free mini lessons, but in the courses I'm going to be doing, I will be using lots of
all of them
foul language.
Even the C-bomb.
Well, I think lots of people want to know how we use all these words.
Yes.
So that will be a small part of the courses.
I think the important thing is with the language, it's using it appropriately, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the most important thing.
Okay. Has your daughter ever said to you, Dad, act your age?
Every time we have a party and her friends are there. It's a long story. I was brought up in children's homes, so I didn't have a family environment as a child. So what I always promised myself was when I have a child that I'm going to dedicate my parenting skills to that child.
Yeah.
And that's probably why I'm such a walkover with my daughter. She gets away all the time, but we often allow her to have parties.
We say gets away with murder.
Yeah, totally.
So she can do anything.
Pretty much.
But not,
I would
not
be rather
actually
cross.
murder.
I would be rather cross if she did actually murder someone, but the expression is perfect.
Yeah.
Getting away with murder. She can do anything she wants, and I'll go to tell her off.
Yeah.
The eyelids will go, and it's forgotten straight away. But we have these parties, and her friends come round, and I get on really well with all her friends, and I'll be in there dancing with them, and she'll be going, Dad, you're embarrassing. Act your age.
Because what are you, about 65 now?
Well, if I was, I'd be looking fantastically good. I think I should just point out I'm younger than him.
Oh, yeah.
More handsome
Yeah,
than him.
you do need to point it out. Okay, I think this, because we've done... Oh, one other last one. What do we often say to actors before they go on stage?
Well, the tradition is not good luck. The tradition is break a leg.
Yeah.
Where it came from, there are different answers. It's the same as like the don't say Macbeth in the theatre. These kind of like things you have in the acting world. I believe the...
No, you just said it. You said don't mention the Scottish play.
That's what I should have said. But we're not in a theatre, so hopefully
so it's
we'll be
bad
okay.
luck to say
Macbeth in a theatre.
Yeah.
But it's also bad luck to wish someone good luck in a play. You should say break a leg.
Oh, it's actually bad luck to say good luck.
Apparently it's supposed to be bad luck to say good luck. Work that one out.
Yeah. So we say break a leg.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now the role you're playing in Midsummer's Night... Sorry, is it a Midsummer's Night Dream or a Midsummer Night Dream?
Midsummer Night's Dream.
Oh, okay, yeah. I bet lots of people say that wrongly.
Yeah. They put the emphasis on summers rather than on nights.
Yeah, okay. So, you are Bottom, and if you could not do the whole play, but just a bit of your favourite speech.
Oh, right. I mean, my favourite speech is the one following where Puck and Oberon have put an ass's head on Bottom, and they've had all the jokey fun there, and then Bottom falls asleep in Titania's arms, Titania being the queen of the fairies, and then everyone disappears and Bottom's left on his own without his ass's head anymore, and he wakes up, and it's him waking up from Bottom's dream, as it's called.
Here we go then.
Okay, well, how am I going to do this? To the camera?
You can do it yes, if you like.
Okay, well, I've got to go to sleep first, if that's all right. We have to get in the character to make the act work. I have had a most rare vision. I have had a dream. Pass the wit of any man to say what dream it was. Man is but an ass if he go about to expand this dream. Methought I was... There is no man can tell what. Methought I was... And methought I had... But man is but a patched fool if he were offered to say what methought I had. The eye of man have not heard. The ear of man have not seen. Man's hand is not able to taste. His tongue to conceive, nor his heart to report on what my dream was. I shall get Peter Quince to write a ballad of this dream. And it shall be called Bottom's Dream, because it has no bottom. And I shall sing it at the latter end of the play before the Duke. Peradventure, to make it the more gracious, I shall sing it at her death. And then go off.
Okay, and then probably people would say, get off, get off.
I've performed that 9 times so far, and every time I've had a resounding round of applause. But it's not easy doing it sat in a deck chair, in the back garden, out of costume, not on the stage running around. But hey, it's great fun.
Okay, so that is a tough act to follow. But we are Gotta have a little bit of fun. So, let's say we just go up to them.
Yep.
So if you could do your best.
And then you are going to try and follow me.
And then I'm going to try and it'll be a tough act to follow.
I hope it is.
So, however you want to interpret William Shakespeare's words.
To be or not to be? That is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to cast my fate against a sea of troubles, and by opposing thus end them. That's the end.
That is the end.
Follow that act. He's been practicing.
I have not. I only just thought of this. To be or not to be? That is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of trouble, and by opposing, end them.
Two very different ways.
Very
One very
different.
thought-provoking, one trying to be a little bit more livelier. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. But that's the wonderful thing about Shakespeare, and that's the wonderful thing about language.
You can do it how you like.
You certainly can, especially when you're acting.
Now, well, actually you can't, can you? Because, of course, the director wants it to be done the way he wants it,
Yes,
usually.
and you must act upon the director's direction.
Okay, now, just to finish, a couple of jokes.
Oh, no.
Harry and Tom go to the theatre, but Harry gets up to leave after the curtain closes for the first interval. "Where are you going?" asks Tom. "It's not worth the wait," says Harry. "Look in the programme. Act 2, 1 month later."
Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad.
Okay, so 1 month later means that's where the scene is
Scene
set.
will be set in the next time they open the curtain
It doesn't
after
mean
the interval.
it doesn't mean it'll be in a month.
No.
So that's quite funny. And one other one. Little Johnny is performing in the school play when he falls through a large crack in the floor. Johnny's father turns to his mother and says, "Don't worry, it's just a stage he's going through."
Oh, that's terrible.
Can you explain that last bit? Just a stage.
Stage. Well, okay. What we do with obviously with our children as they grow up, they come to different stages in their life.
Yeah.
As we all do. The expression about it's just a stage he's going through is he's reached a certain point. Dare I say it? Puberty is a very important stage in children's lives, and then after puberty there becomes adolescence, and then after adolescence there becomes teenagers sort of thing, and then after that it becomes adulthood, and they're all different stages within someone's life. Used in the context of he's falling through a stage, so it's very clever, a play on words sort of thing.
Yeah.
I liked the other one that was there about the audience were very happy with the happy ending. They were happy because the play had ended. I thought that was quite a good one. I've been in a few plays like that where I've been happier about the fact the play's over.
Okay, and have you ever done any Shakespeare? I've just suddenly thought of this, where you both say the same lines.
Wow.
You haven't, come on.
I haven't, have I? No.
But what we were talking about, going through stages, this is a very, very famous part of a speech from The Tempest, which is actually my favourite Shakespeare play. So shall we try it?
Why not?
1, 2, 3. All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts, his acts being 7 ages.